Hi, let's look at assessment criteria 3.1. Assessment criteria 3.1 for responsible marketing. Okay, here we are going to continue our discussion on the marketing mix. So you know the marketing mix, and we are going to look at how the marketing mix can be adapted to achieve ethical, societal, and sustainability goals. So in particular, we are going to look at these areas, channels, that is distribution, channel tactics. In terms of products, looking beyond features and benefits, how customers today are looking not only to buy features and benefits of the product, they are also looking at companies' sustainability credentials. Responsible consumption, responsible messaging, and media channel choices, social marketing, cause marketing, inclusive marketing, content marketing, and social media marketing. So these are some of the terms we're going to look at across the product, price, place, promotion, the marketing mix. So I want to take you through this to understand the kind of sustainability challenges and opportunities. So you see in red the challenges and in blue the box in terms of opportunities. The tree represents the triple bottom line: profit, people, and planet. Profit means the economic profit, economic sustainability. People is the social sustainability, and planet is the environmental sustainability. Profit, people, and planet. And when you look through the whole ecosystem of sustainability, there are different challenges and opportunities. So some of them are spoken of in this chapter and in this syllabus, and some of them are for wider reading. So the opportunities are, green technologies, circular economy. By now, you know these terms. Energy efficiency, from solar to the other alternate sustainable sources. Then on the other side, you have digital literacy. The more customers are digitally savvy, they will not use paper. They will not burn petrol and drive to a bank when you can do banking on your mobile and on the internet. Social engagement, equal opportunities, access to technology. And then in terms of economic sustainability, you have innovation, fair trade, so many kinds of jobs that are created, green jobs that are created today. And then there are other different challenges from your carbon footprint, e-waste, energy consumption, pollution, privacy issues, ethical considerations. And there are so many issues with regards to sustainability as well. So it is important that you read through all these areas, because with regards to a marketer's role, marketers are today called to be increasingly responsible and take responsibility in managing some of these areas in the triple bottom line in the organization. And you are not only called to always sell your products and services, but to also look at things from a responsibility lens. And that is to be ethical to think about sustainability in terms of social sustainability, environmental sustainability, as well as economic sustainability. So this is sort of something that we also looked at in the previous chapter, and I'm continuing my discussion on the sustainable marketing mix. Product, price, place, promotion. That's the 4 Ps. So in terms of the product, if you're focusing to develop a sustainable marketing mix in your organization in terms of product, obviously you need to look at eco-friendly features and also your manufacturing processes to be sustainable. Place means distribution. So you need to have your recycling in place. You need to make sure that your carbon footprint is minimized in terms of your distribution of products and services. Promotion is to ensure that you take responsibility with regards to the messaging that goes out and the media choice that you use. And pricing considerations are also important because when you are looking at organic products, when you are looking at pricing, fair pricing, and so on and so forth, so you take into account real challenges, and pricing considerations must be understood to increase the accessibility towards sustainable products. Usually, if you are a sustainable focused organization selling products, your pricing will be high. Your pricing will be high. And it is difficult. I remember very recently, Dilma, one of Dilma's very big export markets is Australia. And Dilma is a Sri Lankan brand, but they're a global brand. And one of the first markets that they really did well is Australia. And within Australia too, they have some big supermarket clients, very big supermarket clients who buy Dilma in bulk. And very recently, I saw Dilma trying to pull out of Australia because there is a huge price war. Dilma is a sustainable brand, ethical brand. They do a lot of things to make sure that their tea pluckers and everyone part of the value chain are taken care of. I have personally seen it with my eyes when you go into their facilities. So in doing so, they incur a huge cost. And when someone, let's say from another market like Bangladesh or Myanmar or India or China, come and undercut your price, then you have to take a call. Is business more important, or is it important for me to practice my ethical and sustainable practices? And that's a compromise. That's one of the biggest challenges that you face. So therefore, if you are offering an ethical product, a sustainable product, your pricing will most often be high. And the challenge for you is to fend off any competition who will undercut you. Right? That is going to be a big challenge. The triple bottom line is something that we have spoken of: profit, people, and planet. And you will embrace some causes, environmental causes, social causes as an organization. And see how Toyota has done it brilliantly. This is Toyota's Environmental Challenge 2050. They want to be a net zero company. Net zero. Net zero is to have, their carbon footprint to be zero. So They will generate carbon credits for their carbon that are released to the environment. And for them to achieve net zero means they will quantify their carbon footprint. They will do certain things to achieve carbon credits, to negate the impact that it creates on the environment. So there are so many things, and they beautifully put it like this. There are many challenges, 6 challenges, right? As you can see in different areas, from alternate fuel development to minimizing the water usage, to the challenges they have in their plants, manufacturing plants, right? And they're a very big company, they're market leaders. And this is their 2050 challenge. Zero environmental impact, contributing to a better society through net positive impact. This is Toyota's environmental challenge 2050. So here's another interesting company, McDonald's, that is going green. And they're genuine about this. I have seen this with my own eyes as well. McDonald's is rebranding its stores to be more green focused. So you can see their brand has also changed. So now in Europe, right, a lot of people are conscious about their health and the environment and sustainability. It is even happening here now in Sri Lanka, right? So you can see this is a traditional McDonald's store. This is the new McDonald's store. Now, in some markets, this McDonald's store prevails. But in markets that are extremely sustainability, green, ethical focused, health conscious, they are now starting to shift into these stores. So they are going from this menu to this kind of menu. So you can see when they are branded the bus halls. So changing their entire menu. They're changing their entire menu. And they're going into more sustainability focused, green kind of, their entire menu, layout, everything is changing. And that is because of the pressure they have, because in those markets, the consumer is aware and they love their environment, right? They love their children so much that they don't want their children to be obese. So they are putting pressure on companies. This is a top 10 brand in the world. They're putting pressure, they're boycotting companies. They're having consumerist movements to put pressure on these organizations that cause obesity, diabetes, and all the other health problems, especially amongst young adults today as well. So as a result, you can see McDonald's are changing its entire strategy from their menus to the look and feel of the outlet to their value proposition. And that's a great case study. And you have to focus on sustainability across the value chain, including your distribution channels. Adopting sustainable practices in logistics and supply chain operations significantly reduces the carbon footprint and environmental impact of transportation and storage. It's not just about being eco-friendly. These practices lead to cost reductions and improve supply chain efficiency. This is real. Now, in Sri Lanka, you might not really feel it, but in the West, this is reality. You can't just only reduce your carbon footprint and ensuring that you are sustainable. You need to think about the guy who's supplying you your raw materials. Not only that, you need to think about the distributors, your suppliers, and the entire value chain must be looked at in terms of a cohesive strategy to achieve your sustainability goals. And this is a nice example. I mean, we always like to see companies that are sustainability or eco-friendly focused. I mean, I went to a restaurant in Malaysia recently, a restaurant in Malaysia. And before they started serving us, they took us to the kitchen and they took us through the story of their chef. And they took us to different parts of the chef's cooking areas. And one area was how the chef focuses on sustainability and using natural ingredients. And that gave us a nice feeling when we are eating the food. Gave us a nice feeling because this guy is thinking about the environment. He's thinking about recycling, pollution. He's thinking about even the little thing that he's doing, running a restaurant. He's thinking about recycling and also picking things from his own herbs and stuff like that from his own grown garden. So it does not have any pesticides and all the other issues, and they don't waste fuel and petrol and all that transporting them. He has his own back garden at the back of the restaurant where he picks his herbs. I don't know if it's true or not, but that gave you a nice feeling when you're eating the meal, and you wouldn't mind paying a little bit extra, tipping them extra, and perhaps you'll come back to the restaurant as well. And these are little things that you can do: eliminating plastic, eliminating glass, eliminating all the non-recycling material, and going into paper-based, eco-friendly packaging, especially packaging, right, will give you a nice feeling as a customer. And then you can also tell the customer with a tag like this that you are focusing especially on eco-friendly packaging. And Starbucks is another great case study. One of the great companies also that focuses on the environment and as well as ethics with regards to how they treat their people and social welfare. And you can see what they've done here. In 2004, Starbucks joins the US Green Building Council. And you can see from year on, they have built and operated 10,000 greener stores globally. By 2025, 10,000 greener stores. What do you mean by greener stores? Starbucks greener stores. This is a great example. So naturally, their brand is also green, but they are focusing on renewable energy, enough to power 100% of their stores. Water conservation and stewardship, 1.3 billion gallons of water saved annually. Using responsible and sustainable materials. Energy efficiency. Waste diversion. Healthy environment and employee engagement. The energy and passion of Starbucks partners inspire a culture of sustainability. Partners take action through community service, engagement, and outreach. So you can see their strategy that they adopt to put forward greener stores. And that's a strong value proposition for a company that sells coffee. And there are different practices that you can adopt in your supply chain in order to be ethical, sustainable, and responsible. You can You can have a supplier code of conduct. You can use greener, environmental friendly packaging, sustainable transportation, be ethical in your sourcing, reduce waste. Also think about the design of the product in terms of it being environmental friendly, easy to transport, easy to handle, and recycle. And involve the stakeholder engagement. So these are the ways in which you can practice sustainability even with your own supply chain. And companies should focus on sustainability because consumers today are looking beyond features and benefits. Features are the technical attributes that bring about value to the customer. Customers are not necessarily interested in all of the features of the product. Instead, they want to know how these features will benefit them. So features and benefits. Features and benefits. I might have a feature of airbags in a car. That's a feature. But the benefit is safety. So customers are buying the benefit. I might have the feature of what? Let's take the mobile phone. The feature to, let's say, I don't know, do you know this feature in the phone, right? The feature of you can measure something. Do you know that? There's an app called Measure in the iPhone. It's a feature. But how can I use it to measure height when I really need it? Let's say when I really need to measure something, I don't have a foot ruler. Just open the app and then I can use that feature towards a benefit, right? So every time we buy a product, there are features and benefits. Even if you go to eat and buy food, there can be certain features and health benefits. So we buy benefits. As consumers, we buy the benefits. But one of the strong benefits in buying a product is your sustainability credentials. Green consumers look beyond features and benefits of products and services and focus also on the company's sustainability credentials. And it is a very important source of differentiation. Look at the sustainability credentials of this company. This is Ford Motors. If you look at Ford Motors in the annual report, they talk about all these credentials, how they reduce their waste, they focus on certain types of fuel. They have moved to alternate energy sources from fossil fuels to EVs. So they are increasing their charging stations. These are all green credentials. Green credentials. The investments they are making in electric vehicles, all these are to ensure that they focus on net zero. So your sustainability credentials or green credentials refer to a company's demonstrated commitment to sustainable practices and responsible environmental stewardship. So these are some examples. If you read the annual report of many companies, you might see that. And then we need to understand that there is a subtle difference between green marketing and sustainability marketing. Green marketing and sustainability marketing. So green marketing focuses on the environmental aspect of sustainability. Sustainability addresses at a deeper level, factoring not only nature, the environment, but also society, people, and all in between. So sustainable marketing is a broader concept. It takes not only into account the environment, it also looks at society and the harmony of entire ecosystem, not only environmental and green aspects, but economic aspects, social aspects, as well as environmental aspects. So in other words, sustainability marketing is a broader term than green marketing. And we are called as customers to be responsible in our consumption behavior. Be responsible in our consumption behavior. So responsible consumption. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I go to my basement and my rooms that I have all the unused things in my house. I did that yesterday. I went to one of the basement areas that we have a lot of things that we just keep aside, right? And sometimes, when you really look at the stuff you have just put away, and sometimes you think about all the money you spent buying those things, but you just use them once or twice, and it's just kept there for years. You don't want to give it away because you spent too much of money. You don't want to give it away because you think you might need it. But for the past 7 years, you've used it just twice or not at all. We are all guilty of this. We are all guilty of this. We are buying and buying and buying things, from clothes to so many other things. And that's where you and I are called to be responsible citizens that consume and buy what we want. Responsible consumption is an attitude that involves making well-reasoned decisions about the products we buy by taking into consideration their environmental, social, and economic benefits. Even if someone offers you a water bottle, right, to drink, you have to think, how am I going to dispose this water, right? How am I going to dispose this bottle? Is it really necessary? Can I wait for 5 minutes to go home and drink water, or go to office and drink water? Should I buy that bottle and throw it somewhere, because all that ends up in the ocean. So responsible consumption does not only save money, but it also saves the environment, because there are 7 billion of us buying a lot of things. And that goes against the philosophy of marketing, because the whole idea of marketing is to sell more, sell more. So marketers are guilty, because we are pushing with our ads, with our personal selling, with our digital communication. We are just getting people to buy things they don't want. But increasingly, you are called to be a responsible marketer. And also think about how you communicate your message. In messaging, there's always an ethical and moral right? This song that you see, Dini Amre by Iraj Productions. We all watch these videos and all that, but what are the moral philosophies that define right and wrong? Is it something that is, something that we do that will create, right, some level of injustice towards society, our social irresponsibility? Because how many kids might be seeing some of these stuff? Think about the ads that you use. Think about the ads that you use. And then you have, ad that you see down there is Otara sending a message of love, affection towards animals. So we have to constantly think about, even with our marketing messages, right? Look at this message. This is from Bacardi. Responsible messaging. We have to carefully select the choice of channels. we have to understand that it is the company's reputation. This is an ad by Burger King. Marketers are expected to frame their messages responsibly. You might say, Louis, but marketing is about getting attention. Yes, it is. But whilst you do things to get attention, you also need to be responsible. Because today, consumers are smart. They will look down on ads like this, right? And we are, as a country, we have positioned ourselves, the garment industry, the garment industry ran a campaign for all our manufacturers of garments. The name of that campaign to the world was Garments Without Guilt. Garments Without Guilt. And then you have MAS, Brandix, so many other companies, Hydramonies, and so many others who partook in this campaign. And they show how ethical we are as companies that manufacture and sell to the world. So when we compete with other players in Myanmar, Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, and China, and everyone else, Thailand, everyone that manufacture, they are looking at differentiating ourselves as an ethical player, as a responsible player. And social marketing is an approach used to develop activities aimed at changing or maintaining people behavior. Right? So maintaining people's behavior for the benefit of individuals and society as a whole. So there can be certain things that you do that you're trying to change the social fabric, the social behavior. This is an ad that you can see, right? You can see the supermarket basket there. At the bottom of it, you can see someone who's starving without food, how they show that ad there. Buy only what you want. And then you can also see this ad that says, see how easy feeding the hungry can be. So you are buying so many things, your supermarket cart will be full. But then the more you buy from this particular supermarket, they will donate back to the people who really also need the food. And that's a very powerful message communicated in a strong channel inside the supermarket. And you don't feel guilty. Now, this is an example of social marketing. Cause-related marketing. Coca-Cola has a nice campaign on their Arctic Home. If you look through their YouTube, you'll see some ads as to what they do with the polar bears. And it's a cause that they have embraced as a top brand in the world. Cause-related marketing refers to the practice in which companies allocate a portion of their revenue generated from product sales to support a specific cause. Consumers who value the cause more highly tend to exhibit a greater willingness to pay for the product. So cause-related marketing still works. Inclusive marketing. This is a good example of inclusive marketing by Paul Mitchell. Inclusive marketing is something that considers diversity in all its forms. So you need to look at gender prejudice, LGBTQ, age, appearance, ethnicity, and so many color prejudice, right? You can see here, right? With this ad, it shows that beauty is not about just, appearance issue that you have. Beauty is beyond that. Beauty is beyond that. So inclusive marketing is to ensure that you include everyone, not exclude everyone. Include everyone, not exclude everyone, right? We have heard these concepts called homophobia, Islamophobia, that phobia, this phobia. And then you have in the West so many kinds of other things like color prejudice. Sri Lanka, you have racial prejudice, racial tensions, religious tension. So today's educated human beings, you have to see a human being as a human being. You don't look at, right, a human being and say, you are black, you are white, you are gay, you are straight, you are belonging to this sect, you are this, you are that. We don't profile people today. And it's very important that you need to include everyone in your messaging and your marketing. We call that inclusive marketing. Inclusive marketing. Content marketing, as you know, is something that we use in digital marketing. There's content we can use to inspire, content to entertain, educate, and convince. So content marketing is the development and distribution of relevant, useful content, blogs, newsletters, white papers, social media posts, and the list goes on. So we can use effective content as well to promote the message of responsibility and sustainability. And all of you know what social media marketing is. Today is very powerful. Without your social media, you cannot build a sustainability strategy. And it's very effective to use video, text, blogs, websites, apps. And there are many examples that you can see of carbon calculators. So many interesting examples that I have given you in terms of the videos that you can watch to see how you can engage your different audiences, sometimes even in gamification. And all that is important when you're trying to bring about sustainability out there as something that you are, preaching to the world. If you are an advocate of sustainability and ethics and responsible marketing, you need to take that message out there because it is something that comes from within. It's a passion. Thinking about the planet, not everyone does think about the planet. Thinking about society, not everyone genuinely thinks about society. So it takes someone with a real heart to see things differently. And that's exactly what you're called to be as a marketer. Because you are guilty of overselling. You need to protect now. You need to protect the planet. With that, we finish assessment criteria 3.1. I'll see you in AC 3.2. Thank you.